All right, guys, ladies, welcome back. In this video, this is video 2 of creating block letters. And if you watched the last video, you know that we are trying to create block letters, not bubble letters. And the basic difference between the two were that block letters have straight edges all the way around, whereas bubble letters can include curves. So we're trying to build letters with straight sides and straight angles. So last time I had said something about us creating a set of block letters from your initials. And that is actually what we're doing for our assignment. And I'm going to do a few of the more complicated block letters because people have trouble with the letters that have diagonals in them. That seems to be the most difficult ones for people. So I'm just going to mark myself off another box here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we want all of our letters to be the same size when we're getting them designed out here. And I'm just going to lightly kind of sketch this in so you can see the boundary lines here. So there is my, let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing here. There we go. So there is my box shape for the letter. So let's say you have an N in your name, or a K, an R, a V, anything that has a diagonal line in it. An M has those two diagonal lines in the middle. So you have an M, we're talking about those diagonal lines right there. W, V, R has that leg, a K, D, E, F, G. I'm sure there's more, but Y, Y, Z, okay. Any of those that have those diagonals in them are the ones we're talking about right now. So I'm going to do an N, because that seems to be a fairly common letter in people's names. And so I've got, basically 3 lines to build this with, or 3 rectangles if we're, still talking about these, rectangle shapes. So I've got 2 vertical straight lines. So I know that's going to take up the 2 side areas here. So if I just lightly sketch that in, okay. What I like to do is use this corner right here, and I like to use this corner right here for diagonals. And a lot of times, you need the aid of a ruler when it comes to working on these diagonals. So what I would do is, I know that this is going to have to come over here to this direction, okay? And I know that this is going to have to go, the bottom of the N, okay, is going to have to go that direction. So, but I can't just draw it from here to here, because that's just going to be a straight line, whereas I need some thickness to that line across the center. So what I will do sometimes when I'm trying to, get these even and correct, is I will kind of measure out, how wide that block is. And so I'm going to switch around to inches, because I think it's a quarter. It is. Like, my graph paper is 1/4 of an inch. So I know that the line going across my end needs to be 1/4 of an inch. You don't have to be this, compulsive about it. Oops. But, I like for it to be, when I'm designing these. So if I go diagonally across here, there to there is almost the width, across like that. So I will draw. I'll go a couple of blocks up from the bottom, and I will connect that to there. And I'll just go really lightly because sometimes, you know, it may not be thick enough and I'll have to erase it and redraw the line a little higher or lower. So right there. And so I know that that is about 1/4 of an inch wide. So I know that I can kind of lightly sketch that in. Like I said, you know, yours doesn't have to be all the same thickness all the way across. I personally just like them that way for my own designs. But however you do it is up to you. So the other one I will do, I'll do a K, and I'll also do an R and a W, because those are the ones that seem to give people the most trouble. So I'm going to do an R next, I think. So if you look at the letter R, you could almost look at it like, so, you know, it's got a straight line, a diagonal line, and a curved line. Well, I can't have any curved lines, so if I can keep my straight line, but I can't do a curve. So what I can do is I can do 2 straight lines and a flat, okay, or a vertical there. So that's kind of like the shape of the letter P, or even if you wanted to, you know, you could even go back a step. It looks like an F, okay? And then all I have to do is add the diagonal leg to it, okay? Well, that's easy to draw like that, but how do we put that into a 5x7, you know, rectangle? So I'm going to ignore this. I'm just going to do the F first because I know that's an easy starting point. If I peel back the layers of that letter, okay? I know it's going to come across here. I know it's going to come across here. And I'm going to close that in to make the letter P. Because I want this letter to be 5x7, I want the leg of the R to actually come into this corner, so that all 4 corners are, you know, being used for this letter. So what I would do is, I know from a previous experience that it's usually 2 blocks wide. So I would come over 2 blocks from here because I need a diagonal to go there. So I'm just going to lightly sketch that in case I don't like the way it looks. And then I'm going to come over 2 blocks and go to there. So when I look at that, that is much wider than I want it to be. It's almost double what it should be. So I'm going to erase that. And I made that mistake on purpose because I wanted you to see that, you know, if you don't think it looks right, you know, just erase it out and try a different, you know, width. I mean, you can be insane and measure it if you want to, but I prefer not to be insane. So I'm just going to go back 1 mark to there, and I'm going to draw it across to there. And then I'm going to do that. So when I sketch that in, I think that looks a little bit more reasonable, because I like the corner of the R to be right there. Some people will use both sides of the R, or the corner there, and that's fine too. I mean, it's your letters, you know. You end them however you want them to be ended. Okay, so another one is a K. That gives people trouble sometimes. So the K has a straight line and 2 diagonals. So I'm going to have my straight in here. And because the 2 diagonal lines meet in the middle of the straight, I'm going to find where the middle of the straight is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 4th block right here is the center of this vertical rectangle, okay? And I like for the K, I like the tops of my letters to be flat like that. And so the bottom of the K is flat like that. So what I can do is, I'm trying to think if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a 2. So I'm going to go from here to there because that's that middle block we were talking about right there. Okay, so I'm going to connect this to that corner there, like that. And then this is going to be the bottom part, so I'm going to connect that bottom part to there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing down here. This one is going to go to here because this is the bottom part of that diagonal. Oops, I think it's in there. And then this is the top part of that diagonal. So if they overlap a little bit, it's okay, you know, because these lines are crossing right there, and that's fine. So I'm just going to shade that in. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to stop with that one, and I hope that helps give you some ideas as to how to make those diagonal marks in your letter drawings. And I will see you in the next video on how to enlarge these. All right. See you guys later.